Why is it that so many of us spend our lives desperately chasing love, only to feel more alone with each failed connection? Have you ever wondered if perhaps all that chasing is actually pushing away the very thing you desire most? Think about it. How many hours have you spent overthinking texts, analyzing dating profiles, or trying to become the perfect version of yourself just to make someone else choose you? I know I did, for years, and I want to tell you what happened when I finally stopped. The prison of pursuit. There's something heartbreaking about the way we've been taught to approach relationships. We're told that love is a prize to be won, a treasure to be hunted, something we must qualify for. You went on date after date, putting your best foot forward. You carefully curated the person you presented to the world, the funnier version, the more interesting version, the one who didn't have insecurities or bad days. But here's what nobody told you. When you're constantly chasing, you're also constantly sending a subtle message to yourself and to others. The message is clear. I am not enough as I am. This chase becomes a prison, a hamster wheel of seeking validation, of trying to prove your worthiness of love. And the cruel irony? The harder you chase, the further love seems to run. The psychology behind the chase. Let's pause and ask ourselves, why do we chase so relentlessly? For many of us, it stems from a fundamental misunderstanding about what creates genuine connection. We believe that if we just try hard enough, if we're persistent enough, if we become appealing enough, then finally someone will choose us. When we're caught in this cycle of pursuit, we're operating from a place of scarcity. We believe there's not enough love to go around. We fear that if we don't grab it, hold it, chase it down, we'll be left with nothing. This scarcity mindset transforms potential connections into transactions. People become achievements. Relationships become status symbols. Think about the relationships you've chased hardest. Were they the healthiest? Were they the ones where you felt most seen, most accepted? Or were they the ones where you constantly felt like you were walking on eggshells, desperately trying to maintain someone's interest or approval? The truth hits hard. When we chase love, we often end up with its counterfeit, the wall of defensive desperation. The most damaging part of chasing love isn't the exhaustion, though that's real. It's not the rejection, though that hurts. It's what constant pursuit does to your sense of self. When your worth becomes tied to whether someone chooses you back, you build walls, not the kind that protect you, but the kind that hide you. You develop a defensive armor of perfectionism, of people-pleasing, of never showing your true needs or vulnerabilities. I did this for years, curating different versions of myself for different people. The adventurous one for the thrill-seeker, the intellectual for the deep thinker, the carefree spirit for those afraid of commitment. And in the process, I completely lost track of who I actually was. When you're locked inside the shrinking comfort zone of who you think others want you to be, there's no room left for genuine connection, because genuine connection requires authenticity. The pivot point. For me, the change came after a particularly painful breakup, one where I had done everything right according to the dating playbook. I had been attentive but not clingy, interested but not desperate, available but not too available. I had played all the games perfectly, and still, it fell apart. I remember sitting on my kitchen floor at 2 a.m., exhausted from crying, when a simple question floated into my mind. What if I just stop? What if I stopped trying to be chosen? What if I stopped analyzing and strategizing and optimizing my lovability? What if I just lived my life, followed my genuine interests, spoke my truth, and let connection find me naturally? It was terrifying, because when you stop chasing love, you have to face the possibility that maybe love won't chase you back. But I was too tired to keep running, so I decided to stand still. The uncomfortable growth phase. Stopping the chase doesn't mean giving up on love. It means giving up on the idea that love is something you have to hunt down and capture. When I first made this decision, it felt like withdrawal. I had to sit with the discomfort of not knowing what would happen next. I had to resist the urge to download dating apps when I felt lonely. I had to learn to enjoy my own company without seeing it as just a temporary state until someone better came along. I had to face the painful question, if no one ever chose me again, would I still believe I was worthy of love? I started investing in the relationship I had most neglected, the one with myself. Not in a surface-level self-care way, but in the deeper work of getting to know who I actually was when I wasn't performing for someone else's approval. What did I actually enjoy doing? What were my values when no one was watching? What kind of life did I want to build, regardless of whether someone joined me in it? This phase was lonely sometimes. There were Friday nights when I questioned everything, but gradually something shifted, the liberation. When you stop chasing love and start chasing the fullest expression of your authentic self, a strange thing happens. The constant background anxiety begins to fade, that nagging feeling that you should be doing more, trying harder, being better to deserve love. It gets quieter. In its place comes a kind of peace that I had never known before. The peace of knowing that my worth isn't tied to someone else's assessment of me. I started speaking more honestly, setting clearer boundaries, saying no when I meant no, and yes when I meant yes. I pursued interests I had put on hold. I built a life that felt meaningful to me, not one designed to attract a specific type of partner. And here's what happened. I became magnetic, not in the surface level way that attracts attention, but in the deeper way that attracts connection. Because when you're no longer chasing love, you become a person who doesn't need to be convinced of your own worth. And that kind of solid foundation is ironically what makes genuine partnership possible. The paradoxical result. The greatest irony of stopping the chase is what happens next. When I released my white-knuckled grip on finding love, when I stopped seeing every interaction as a potential pathway to relationship, when I began moving through the world as a complete person rather than half of a potential couple, that's when love found me. Not dramatically, not in a lightning bolt moment, but gradually and naturally in the form of a friendship that deepened over time into something more. There was no game playing, no strategic texting, just two people who saw each other clearly and chose each other day after day. This connection didn't drain me. It didn't keep me up at night worrying if I was enough. Instead, it felt like coming home, like finally being able to exhale a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. This is the paradox. When you stop chasing love and start living authentically, you become the kind of person who can actually receive love when it arrives. The practical path forward. If you're tired of the endless chase that leaves you feeling emptier with each pursuit, here's what I want you to consider. First, commit to a period of intentional stillness. This might mean taking a break from dating apps. Give yourself the gift of not seeking for a while. Second, get curious about who you really are. What lights you up? What values do you hold dear? What kind of life would feel meaningful to you, partnership or not? Third, begin building that life now. Don't wait for someone else to make your days worthwhile. Create a home that feels like a sanctuary for you. Fourth, practice radical honesty. Say what you mean. Express your actual preference. Stop contorting yourself to be more palatable. And finally, when connection does come your way, move slowly. Notice if you slip into old patterns of performing or people-pleasing. The new reality. I won't tell you that stopping the chase guarantees you'll find love. That would just be replacing one form of pursuit with another. What I can tell you is this. When you stop chasing love and start living authentically, you'll find something even more valuable. You'll find peace within yourself. And from that place of wholeness, whatever connections form will be based on something real, something sustainable, something that doesn't require you to diminish yourself to maintain it. I stopped chasing love and everything changed. Not because someone finally chose me, but because I finally chose myself. The chase ends not when someone else validates your worth, but when you no longer need that validation to know your own value. So I invite you to join me. Put down the scorecards and the strategy. Stop running after what keeps moving away from you. Instead, stand firmly in your own truth. Build a life that feels meaningful on its own terms, and trust that whatever is meant for you will not require you to be anyone other than exactly who you are.